Fight Fiend forecast is back in Winnipeg, Canada, my home country of Canada, where we are going to be winning all weekend long. So thank you for staying forecasted. Make sure to smash that like button, suplex the subscribe button if you have not yet, because in the main event, we got one hell of a fight. Gilbert Dorino Burns, almost 40 years old. The question is, does he still have it after consecutive losses? He's in Canada, where he's facing Mike Malott, who's been winning at welterweight, has one loss in the UFC. And the question is with him, can he keep the winning going in Winnipeg? Let's get this video going, Fight Fiends. Thank you all for tuning in for yet another full card prediction show. And on this one, we're going to start it off with the first fight of the night. If you have not yet, please smash that like button. Drop a comment. It goes a long way. Helps the algorithm. And if you want all the bets this week, check out the links in the description below. We got Patreon. All the bets will be in there. And then that opens up locked channels in Discord, where Prelim Tim now has his own private channels. He's posting in there with the UFC forecast, Nick's Licks. We have a free Discord, so make sure you become a forecaster today. Right now, we're starting it off with the first fight of the night in Winnipeg. We're getting right to winning this weekend. We got a Canadian 14-3, Jamey-Lyn versus Yannis 9-4. This one's at 145. And I feel like they're bringing in my Canadian for a win. He has a finishing upside in this fight. He's a finisher on the regional scene, and he has a lot of nice finishes, is what I'm trying to say. He's training at TriStar Gym, a very good gym out of Canada, with 7 submission wins and 4 knockouts. I think he could knock out or submit Yannis, but looking at how Yannis loses, he lost 2 by sub, 2 by a decision. Even if it goes to the judges' scorecards, I'm leaning with the Canadian. He's going to be pumped up for this fight. He has the finishing upside on the ground. Yannis, like I said, he has 2 submission losses, and that's how Jamey-Lyn usually wins his fights, by a submission. So I could be looking at that prop this week. No way I'm fading my Canadian in this first fight of the night, who is a favorite. And like I said, first fight of the night in Canada, it's going to be electric. I'm seeing a finish. Official call, round 2 finish by submission for Jamie in this one. Yannis was on the regional scene, and he came into the UFC with not too much hype. Pretty big underdog. Got submitted in that fight to Austin Bashi on the regional scene. Very low-level wins, and I think my Canadian has fought the better competition too. If the judges need to give it to him, if it is close, they're going to give it to him. Remember, it's in Winnipeg, Canada, and they're bringing in the Canadian to get the win. Second fight of the night, John Castaneda and Mark Vologdin, is a very good fight. It should be a fight of the night, maybe, if both fighters bring action, forward pressure, and that's what I'm expecting in this fight. Tough one to pick. Vologdin here gets a UFC fight off a unanimous decision loss on Dana White's Contender Series, but I'm going to doubt him here. Don't think the striking defense or takedown defense will hold up. John Castaneda at 34 has just fought the better competition. He's more filled into his career right now, and I think he can make a go of it and make it a great fight. Getting the win in this one in Winnipeg. John Castaneda just fought the better competition, and he's off a loss here, split decision. It's time to get back into the win column. It'd be tough to see him take a loss to Vologdin, who lost on Dana White Contender Series in his last fight, just basically getting signed because he's willing to push forward, has durability, and make it an entertaining fight. Maybe he can get a win in the UFC, but I'm not calling him to get one here in Winnipeg. We're going sexy, Mexi in this one. Make sure you crack one and pour one and have some fun. That's what we're going to do this weekend along with winning. We have the Prop Fiends show, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Join that live stream Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for a chance to win $50 in the live chat. Stay forecasted. More content coming out all week in Canada. I'm Canadian, clearly. In the Maritimes, though, I'm not from out west. We're still going to have a ton of fun and get the win here.
Welcome to the Maritimes. Welcome to the Maritimes.
Drinking the lemonade, sour cherry cold streams, vodka drinks here. Let's get her rocking in Canada. Let's make the picks lit. Gilbert Burns main event. Something's going to heat up, rather if it's the dog of the week or the locks of the week. Looking at the third fight, one of my least confident picks of the week. Won't be a lock, won't be an underdog situation. Although Mitch Raposo has been seeing some love to start the week. He did open as a bigger underdog than plus 170, and Mitch Raposo, 10-3, is a wrestler and has striking to back it up. Not a bad fighter, but he's new to the UFC and has fought the lower level competition. Being completely honest, non-biased in this one. The underdog price tag is intriguing, but he just hasn't fought the better competition, and he started his first 2 fights in the UFC with split decision losses. Off a unanimous decision win. It was a good win for him. Forward pressure, wrestling, it got it done, but Allan Nascimento on the ground, I believe, will be more powerful, have the grit as well, and be the better grappler by far. Likely could sink in a submission at any point in this fight, so I wouldn't advise Mitch Raposo to go to the wrestling in this fight. Keep it standing, avoid takedowns, and win off that, being defensive and going at the striking. That's how he's going to beat Nascimento. But Nascimento, I think he's going to have the power and the experience to go out here and get the takedowns, possible submission. If not, rinse and repeat. Judges will like the control time, consecutive takedowns. Raposo is scrappy. Maybe he doesn't get submitted, but it's not going to look good getting taken down so many times. It's a worry for me that Nascimento on the feet might be outmatched here. It could be very close, and if he doesn't get the takedowns going, it's a very sketchy fight on the judges' scorecards. We already seen Mitch Raposo go to 2 split decisions out of 3 UFC fights. I'm staying away. But Allan Nascimento is the pick, submission or decision in this fight. The next one, we got Aldrich, Jamey-Lyn Horth. This is a fight I want to stay away from, but it's a great fight that I want to watch. Aldrich likes to go to the wrestling, and that's where she has her success. But Jamey-Lyn Horth is very good at keeping fights on the feet, and she's going to be the better striker in this fight. Being from Canada, fights in Canada, I'm Canadian. You know who I'm taking. I'm taking Jamey-Lyn Horth to win the fight via striking. Possible decision. It's a women's fight. It's probably going to the judges' scorecards. But if there's anyone to get a finish, it would be Jamey-Lyn Horth. I could see Jamey-Lyn Horth landing the KO more likely than Aldrich greasing a decision here in Canada, because that's how she's going to do it. I don't think she's going to land a knockout in this fight. Aldrich, she's going to have to go to that wrestling and keep it close on the feet. It's just, she wears too much damage. Her skin is very white, and it cuts easily, in my opinion. You're going to see the blood and the red skin and the damage more clearly on Aldrich rather than Jamey-Lyn Horth. And then you got the judges potentially being biased towards the Canadian. I'm picking Jamey-Lyn Horth, the Canadian, in this next fight. But hey, she's not as confident as a pick for me as Melissa Croden in this next one as a favorite, a bigger favorite than Jamey-Lyn Horth. Actually, I'll take that back. Melissa Croden is not as big of a favorite. So I'm going to say there's value on this pick, Melissa Croden. I think she has the round 3 finishing upside. She has 4 finishes in round 3, I do believe. And later in fights is where she wears out her opponents. She can mix it in with the takedowns too. And Zheleznyakova, 10-2, is a very good fighter and technical, but her takedown defense needs work. Her training camp didn't go too good, and she knows this one's probably going to take place on the feet. That's what she's expecting. I do believe Melissa can mix it up, take it to the ground, and expose Zheleznyakova takedown defense. But I'm going to say Melissa Croden can even keep it on the feet and gas out Zheleznyakova, who in my opinion doesn't have a great gas tank, starts to be a gasser like some other fighters on this card. And I'm going to fade that and not fade my Canadian, Melissa Croden. I think she roots the win. Easily is en route to the win the whole fight, is what I'm trying to say here, with the striking and damage once again. and just mixing it up with the takedowns if she has to. The round 3 finish will be there. I think she will have the cardio, and in round 3, we will see the cardio advantage, and we'll see Zheleznyakova really start to gas out. I don't believe she's ready for this fight, and in other fights, I really seen her struggle. She was lucky to get that win versus Melissa Mullins in that last fight. That was more of a knock on Melissa Mullins rather than, oh, Zheleznyakova looked really good. You know what I'm saying?
Jared, what are
We're
you doing?
prepared to hook you up with this, Ma, but $150 a month.
$150 a month.
Know what I'm saying?
Her last couple fights, she got submitted to Lynn Perez. That's not really a great look. She got knocked out to Melissa Mullins the first fight, and her 2 wins in between those were a decision win and a knockout win to a 5-3 opponent. So she's never going to be able to knock out Melissa Croden in this fight. But by a decision, even in Canada, I can't see that happening, right? We're in Winnipeg, Canada. They're going to give it to Melissa Croden, even if it's close. And Croden is once again more likely to get the knockout or submission, round 3 finish, late in this fight. A finish later in this fight, I'd say over 1.5. She's more likely to do that rather than Zheleznyakova come out here and get the underdog win. So this is another great Canadian pick. But there's some other ones on the card where I'd probably not put them on a parlay. You know, Canadian mix. If you have to do it, you have to do it. Put every Canadian fighter on a parlay. But in the past, we've seen almost every Canadian fighter lose on these Canadian events. So we got to be very careful with bankroll management. Manage the bankroll wisely. Set a bankroll that's comfortable for you. And in women's MMA, we got to be very aware of setting a bankroll, especially on those numbered events. We got to be very calculated with the bankroll. And in the main events, we got to be extremely calculated with the bankroll. So join Discord absolutely free, and I'll teach you and show you how to manage and set a bankroll that is comfortable for you. If we're going to bet, which we do each and every week, we're going to do it strategically so we can profit long term, like Fight Fiend has proven results in the highlighted stories on Instagram. I post all my wins in Discord. So start winning with Fight Fiend. Join the Patreon link in the description below. We're in Canada. We're cashing in. You know that. You already know that. We're cashing in and winning in Winnipeg, Canada. Let's get it. Melissa Croden, great pick. Way more confident in her to win rather than Jamey-Lyn Horth, to be honest. And more confident in her than Nascimento, Castaneda. Yeah, she's probably the most confident pick that I talked about so far on the prelims. And we got 2 fights left. And I'm not saying I'm confident in this fight. It's heavyweight. So Melissa Croden will remain the most confident pick on the prelims. And on the main card, it's probably a confident women's pick up there too. It could be a women's lock parlay this week. Who knows what's going on here? Because in this next matchup, we got a heavyweight fight. I can't be confident on either side. We got Tanner Boser coming back, baby. The Bulldozer's coming back. Oh yeah. Ballistic. This is going to be ballistic, bro. Coming back, couldn't even finish his last opponent outside of the UFC. That was a bad look. That was a bad fight. If you rewatch the fight, his opponent gassed out, and he was unable to finish him. Maybe he found the later knockout, but not a good look from Tanner Boser in his last win. 14-8 opponent at UAE Warriors. His win in the UFC was 2 years and 8 months ago by a decision. He got cut after that. UFC doesn't really want to push him a whole lot in this division. I feel like they're more likely to push his opponent, who is pushing his opponents down. His wrestling is insane, and I'm very excited for this heavyweight debut of Gokhan, Saricam. He's from Turkey. That's the only thing where it's like, where's he training now? I do believe he has made the move out of the country, and he's at a bigger gym, but he's 35, and he's still low experienced. Little worry for me. He's fought the much lower level competition, but his last 2 fights, he took steps up in competition and did what he has done in prior fights. Got the knockout early, looking very vicious, and he has the wrestling to set it up. He goes out there, shoots under the strikes, and gets his takedowns with ease. And in this fight, seeing Tanner Boser in round 1 on the regional scene gets struggled to Vincius Morea 14-8, I do believe Gokhan's going to go out here and get the takedowns early and dominate. Probably find a round one finish. Making his UFC debut, he looks very good, and he's also fought at Bellator, so he's been in these big promotions. His most recent loss was to Oleg Popov, if you know him. Oleg is a very good fighter, 15-1 at the time. That was his most recent loss 3 years ago. He has good wins in Bellator too. He went to a split decision, got it done. He beat Daniel James by a unanimous decision there, so he does have cardio as well in this fight, where Tanner Boser didn't look great. He maybe was coming off the couch in his last fight on the regional scene, but even in Canada, the bookies have him as an underdog. It's really tough for me to pick him to win, and the only reason why I am going to is because he has fought the better competition by far. It's in Canada, close to home. I think he goes out here and steals a decision in Winnipeg, getting the win. Not confident Tanner Boser can do that, but he's going to bulldoze his way to a win. Probably gas out. Gokhan is probably not going to gas out. Use the wrestle and finish him early. So don't bet on Tanner Boser. My pick is based on me being Canadian. All right? Don't go out there and bet Tanner Boser with your hard-earned money.
Don't you do it. Do him a Nashi if you...
All right? Going to be a good fight. But Gokhan is probably going to win this one. Based off my Canadian reverse psychology, I should fade all my Canadian fighters. But we're picking all the Canadian fighters this week, baby. Let's go. This is the third time the UFC is headed to Winnipeg ever. And we are going to have one of the best weeks ever betting. Join the Patreon link in the description below. That's where I'm going to post the bets. And we're going to get in to the last fight, the prelim headliner between another Canadian, Julien LeBlanc, 10-2. They're bringing him in here to fight Robert Valentin. Interesting fight. The odds actually flipped on this one. Robert Valentin opened as the underdog, and it's because tape study on Julien LeBlanc has not looked good, although he won his last number of fights. He has a gas tank where he won unanimous decisions. He has finishes with body kicks, doctor stoppages, and he has a great Muay Thai style. It's a very tough style to deal with, but he's 34 years old, 3 years older in this fight, and he's getting a hungry Robert Valentin, who went to the Ultimate Fighter finale. He's now on a 3-fight losing streak, and if he's still here, it's because he has a chance to win, and a good chance to win. I'm not going to say he can't win the fight. Clearly, the public is switching to Robert Valentin, or sharp bettors have, and the bookies respect it, making Valentin the favorite. Once again, we just talked about this. I'm going to pick Julien LeBlanc, the Muay Thai fighter, to go out here and get a decision. Probably not finish Robert Valentin, who went to a split decision with Torres Finney, but maybe he can get the knockout. You know, Valentin got knocked out to Guage round 1 and Ryan Loader in round 1 or 2. He has been known to get knocked out. He's known to be hittable, and his level of competition is really no better than Julien LeBlanc. So it's really pick your poison here. Are you going to take Robert Valentin on a 3-fight losing streak, or are you going to take the Canadian Julien LeBlanc making his debut, and he is on a 5-fight winning streak? 2 decision losses. He's never been finished or overly dominated. So it's a very interesting fight in this one. Another one I probably wouldn't look at betting, but LeBlanc is going to be the pick for Fight Fiend this week in his UFC debut. I thought I was going to take Robert Valentin, you know. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. He does seem due. And then the odds go and flip, and now he's the favorite. All more reason to pick Robert Valentin. But I'm going with the Canadian, and I'm going to have faith he can go out here and win in his debut. Am I going to go and bet it? That's completely different than a pick. All my bets will be in Patreon. Make sure you check out those links. We're on Instagram, X, Discord's absolutely free. So make sure you check out those links. Smash the like button and subscribe if you have not yet. Really appreciate it, forecasters and fight fiends. Let's get to making some money this week. Not every week's gonna be a good week, which is why I recommend using a bankroll, picking one that's comfortable for you. So check out my Discord absolutely free, and you can see the Bankroll Management channel there. It's a great server. We got a bunch of channels in Discord for free. If you want more access, you want to make more money, you want to take this more serious, Patreon's for you. Become a platinum forecaster, get that full access, and start making bets on all sports. Fight Fiend is doing NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, and we have future bets on all sports getting placed already. So join Patreon now. Smash the links, and let's start smashing bets on the main card. Booyah! And we start off the main card with Marcio, Barbosa, and Dennis Buzukja. This one's going to be ballistic. One of the biggest favorites on the card is Barbosa. 17-2, 27 years old, ton of experience. The younger fighter, making improvements rapidly. I'm picking him to win as a 4-1 favorite. Not going to overcomplicate it. I think he can go out here and get the finish over Dennis Buzukja. Looking at Dennis's his last losses recently, going to a decision, split decision in his last one, but he did get knocked out. His first ever finish loss in his second most recent loss to Jamal Emmers, November 2003. So that was not a good fight. He got caught early in that one, and that's kind of how I feel this fight going down. Dennis just does not seem UFC caliber. Does not seem like he belongs here. Made that split decision close with Francis Marshall, but that was more of a knock on Francis Marshall not bringing his best that night, in my opinion. Connor Matthews, round 3 was a good comeback win for Dennis Buzukja, so I hate to count him completely out. He can come back. He can stay in fights. He's training at a great gym, New England Cartel, and he is at Goat Shed as well. Made the move there. And he wasn't at New England Cartel. I believe he was with Aljamain Sterling's crew and Ray Longo there. So he has been at good gyms. He's well trained. But Barbosa is going to be too much as a 4-1 favorite off Dana White Contender Series, where he got the absolute fucking contract round 1. It was a no-brainer when he went up to talk to Dana that he was getting the contract. The round 1 finish was spectacular, and he's been a guy circled to watch out for making his debut. And they couldn't have gave him an easier matchup here. But if you look back, Barbosa was supposed to fight in May versus someone else making his UFC debut off road to the UFC, Kangi Zhu. That one got scrapped, canceled. Now we're seeing him fight a much easier opponent. He's already had a fight scheduled. He's been training and ready to go. Looking at Dennis, I don't see any canceled bouts recently, so he's been kind of sitting and waiting. But in November 2024, shortly after his split decision loss with Francis Marshall, he tried to grapple at CFFC, and he did get choked out round 1 relatively quick. So I think Barbosa on the feet, on the ground, can get the win here. He does have 14 knockouts, so the public will be targeting him by knockout. Wouldn't be shocked if he can get the submission, eh? Like, anything can and will happen inside of the octagon. Even if he needs a decision, he should be the better fighter in this fight. He won his last 4 fights, all in round 1, by knockout. So in this one, I doubt that's going to happen once again. I'd be looking at the submission for value, the decision for value, but that's me as a betting man. I'm looking to get the best value I can when betting. I'm not going to look and take a 4-1 favorite on the money line and single bet it. I'm going to try to bet him with value, maybe a prop, something like that. If the submission is a good number, I'll look at putting a unit there. Maybe the decision. So join Patreon to get access to all the bets. Definitely looking for value if betting on Barbosa this week. As a lock of the week, not too comfortable to play that money line, to be completely honest. He's making his UFC debut, and I mentioned Dennis has been well trained, fought at good gyms. You never know what could happen in this fight. He made some UFC fights close where I doubted him before, and I'd hate for him to come out here and burn a bet or two for me this week. I'd be careful on the 4-1 favorite. It's certainly not free. So let's keep moving along, managing that bankroll on each and every fight that we add to the bets this week. Because we got another close fight. The odds aren't sure what to do either. Between Thiago Moises, the fighter with more experience, 19-9, and Guage 10-3. Guage Young's new, and I don't know why he's getting so much love right now. He doesn't have the experience. He has a lot of forward pressure that ends up getting him hit. He's very hittable with low defense, but his output's pretty high. His takedown defense is pretty good, but against lower level competition is the thing. Thiago Moises should be able to go out here and do his thing, get takedowns, be more aggressive, land with more power, be more accurate, be more technical, and just be the better fighter everywhere. Everywhere in this fight. So not sure where the odds are going to end up here. I will end up on the Thiago Moises side. Pretty confident he can go out here and get the win. I'd be low confident and afraid to bet it because of the odds. Not sure where Tapology is right now. I can take a look at that, but I think Guage Young here, being 6 years younger, might have an advantage, more of a ceiling in the UFC, more of a future in the UFC. But Thiago Moises made the move to Fighting Nerds. He has a ton of experience, fought the best of the best, and if his durability can hold up, he's only 31 years old. He could easily get the win here and the finish over Guage Young. I'm taking Thiago Moises this week. I'm going to pop up Tapology on my computer and see where everybody else is leaning. Yeah, 70% on Thiago Moises. Early in the week, we only have 800 Tapology picks. The odds are about, 50-50, plus 100 for Thiago Moises right now. The odds don't reflect the 70% on Moises. That's another warning sign for me. Not looking to bet it probably right now. We'll see what happens later in the week for sure. Hopefully the odds flip in this one. Let me know in the comments below. Who are you taking in this one between Guage Young and Thiago Moises? Should be a good one. We got a couple good fights in Canada. It's obviously not getting hyped up because there's so many other good events that the UFC is putting on this year. So many other big names that we just seen. We just had a championship fight, numbered event. This one ain't going to get as hyped up. And some of these fighters haven't done much recently. Some of them are coming off losses. So really not the best event from an outside look. But I expect it to be very good and deliver. Dominant on bets, hopefully. A lot of good spots for betting. And I think a lot of fighters will start to prove themselves. Hopefully get more hype behind them. Might be a very interesting night where people don't believe it will be right now. We got 4 fights left. And this is where it starts to get more intriguing. We got a big favorite now in the women's flyweight division. And it's Jasudavicius and Crine, the Killer Silva. Yeah. A women's scrap. This one's going to be vicious. The Killer's going to go out there and lose cardio after a round and a half. In this fight, the later it goes, as this big of a favorite, the question is, can she get a finish? Is she pissed off after that round 1 knockout loss where she kind of got iced, cold cocked? Is she going to come out pissed, have a little chip on her shoulder, or is she going to unanimously win and drag this fight to deep waters? I think Crine Silva is in for a very tough fight in Canada this week. Jasmine's clearly the pick for Fight Fiend this week. It's in Canada. I'm Canadian, and I've been picking her almost every fight in her UFC career, and she's had a great career up to date. And I think in this one, we're going to see another great fight from her. Very excited for this fight. She got cold cocked. She went to the Shadow Realm in her last fight. But I do believe she's not going to go out like that again in Canada. That even happened in Canada, too. I'm almost certain. Yeah, that was Montreal. So, she's pissed. She's fucking pissed. Mandel Nello next. 14-3 off Dana White Contenders Series, where he put on a highlight. He was the guy where we had to circle his debut, make sure we knew when that was coming, because he's someone to watch out for. But the only thing I want to point out here, he's kind of old. He's 36 years old. He's getting Jai Herbert, one of the easiest matchups they probably could have gave him. Jai Herbert himself is also 37 years old. He has a 13-6-1 record, and he's off a split decision loss. Doesn't look too bad, Chris Padilla, but he is just tall and lanky in there, not as defensively sound with his strikes, but he has power, and he even caught Ilya Topuria at one point in round 1. So early, Jai Herbert is more vicious. He starts to gas out later in the fight, where Mandel Nalo might have that heart, determination, and cardio to push later in rounds. Home crowd advantage, cheering him on, and even the judges on his side if it's close. So another Canadian is the pick for Fight Fiend this week. He's a fighter that has certainly the finish and upside. I see a lot of people liking him by finish this week. Can he go out there and do it? You know, this is a step up in competition nonetheless. He gets a UFC veteran, Jai Herbert, who's off a split decision to Chris Padilla. And Chris Padilla looked pretty decent last week and throughout his UFC career. So in a debut fight, a lot of pressure. Nalo might not deliver. He might need a decision. But his last 4 fights, all round 1 finishes. Kind of like, what's his name? 4-1 favorite, Marcio Barbosa. So obviously he can go out here and get the round 1 finish. He's very well rounded though in this one. He doesn't have a bunch of knockouts or a bunch of submissions where we've seen other fighters more one-sided with how they like to finish. You see 8 knockouts and 6 submission wins for Mandel Nalo, and a lot in round 1. 7 knockouts round 1, 5 submissions round 1, and the other 2 were round 2 wins. No round 3 wins. His losses, though, he has a round 3 loss, a round 2 loss, and another round 3 loss by submission. 2 of them are by knockout, so he's never been the distance. 100% finish rate on both sides. Is the Canadian. He's 36. There is a first time for everything. And Jai Herbert is very durable other than the Ilya fight. Especially recently, he went to a decision with Friesiam. Chris Padilla, like I mentioned. He beat Rolando Bedoya by a decision. Went to a majority draw with Ludovic Klein. Went to unanimous decision and even got the win to the Canadian Kyle Nelson. So that's a lot of decision wins for Jai Herbert. If there was a first time for Mandel Nalo to ever go to a decision, it would be right here, right now. It's been a long time since Jai Herbert's been knocked out, and it was Ilya Topuria himself who knocked out Jai Herbert. Every fight since went to a decision. So 100% I would pick the Canadian to go out here and win a decision as a betting favorite. Jai Herbert, probably getting too old in his career. His record's not pretty. But at the same time, how many times have we seen debuts not go so good? I'm completely holding back on betting this fight. Nalo is the pick, but I'm not 100% confident. I'm not picking him as a lock of the week. 100% transparency with you guys this week. Because anything can and will happen in the octagon. Jai Herbert has not been finished since Ilya Topuria. Every fight since went to a decision. I think it's going to be a hard time for Mandel Nalo to go out there and get the finish like he's been doing. All round 1, how is he going to look later in the fight? Does he even have the cardio? There's just so many questions in this fight that I'm asking myself. That's definitely a reason not to bet on it. There could be a look at the over or at the under. But even with that being said, it's sketchy. And anything can and will happen in this fight. One guy going to a decision a bunch, another getting a lot of round 1 finishes, making his debut. I'm going to go with the guy with the experience, the veteran, Jai Herbert, to go to a decision and hopefully take that loss to my Canadian. It's going to be a favorite pick, Mandel Nalo, this week. And I think he could be upset. And I think the bets could be burned on him this week. Even on Charles Jourdain over Kyler Phillips, I also think the bets could be burned on him. These are two tough fights, in my opinion. Kyler Phillips is game. He's game. He's another guy that goes to a decision a lot, and it's like, I can't see Charles getting the finish in this one. He's going to be the pick by a decision again, but to sit here and say, yeah, I'm so confident in him to win, he's going to get the finish, I am not doing that this week. I am not even doing that ever again. These fights can go any which way. Y'all know that. I'm not going to sit here and pick both sides and give you a 2 pass to victory. I'm going to lean you one way. But hey, man, I'd hold back on betting on some of these picks. You know, picks and bets have to be completely different. If I pick a fight, maybe I have to go bet on the value, which is underdog, or the overs or the unders. There's other spots we can be picking. I'm going to be picking every fight and an outcome, but I'm not going to be betting on each and every pick and outcome. Very transparent with that. Jourdain's going to be the pick, but this is another nail-biter. Just like the Mandel Nallo and Jai Herbert fight, you know, except both of them have been around. They're both veterans in the UFC. Jourdain, when he wins, he likes to get those finishes relatively quick. And Kyler Phillips, when he loses, they tend to be decision losses. I don't think he's ever been finished. On the feet, he's very good round 1. He has 4 knockouts round 1, even a submission round 1. So I kind of am concerned for Charles Jourdain, who could get caught. I think his striking defense is not as good as Kyler Phillips, and I don't think his striking is as good as Kyler Phillips. I think the grappling is where Charles Jourdain likes to have his success and will have his most success in this fight over Kyler Phillips. But I'm not going to sit here and be completely confident in that. I can see a bet getting burned on Charles Jourdain and the pick. So I'm going to probably pass on bets. I'm going to pick my Canadian, like I already said on the show. I'm Canadian. I'm repping all Canadians this week. I'm taking Jourdain, but I'm going to pick him probably by a decision officially on this one. I don't see him finishing Kyler Phillips. I see people that I respect taking Kyler Phillips on the Prop Fiend Show Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So tune in, and we're going to talk about this fight way more. And we got people on both sides. I'll go more into depth on Jourdain there, and then we'll have someone on Kyler Phillips. I could do a shoey bet for fun on this one, but to go put hard-earned money on this one, like, I'm not doing that. Join Patreon, and you'll see all the bets I do this week. We're winning in Winnipeg. We got the main event next, and this is the Canadian that is not getting burned. This is a Canadian who just beat Kevin Holland. And yeah, it's not the greatest win. And one thing people are not going to mention on that fight or on their predictions on this fight, Mike Malott needed some eye pokes, some kicks to the nuts, not eye pokes. I remember the fouls. When I said eye pokes, I thought, yeah, kick to the nuts. Remember that? He was constantly kicking Kevin to the nuts. So expect that leg kick to come in handy in this fight over Gilbert Burns. Takedown comes in, knee up the middle, kick. Done. Easy to deal with Gilbert Burns at 39. Gilbert's very hungry, though. He's always training hard, and he has fought the much higher level competition in this fight. Hungry for a win off 4 losses. If there's ever a time, let it be at plus 300, plus 400, so we all can get paid, right? We're going to hedge bet with Gilbert Burns, no doubt. But I don't see a world where Mike Malott goes to Winnipeg and does not get the win. He's winning in Winnipeg, and he's going to do it being super calculated and dialed in. He's going to be the most dialed this week than he's ever been. So to go out here and try to doubt him, pick the big underdog Gilbert Burns, that's crazy. That is craziness in Canada. You can bet him. You can hedge bet him. You can put a little hard-earned money on him. Manage bankroll wisely. But I'm not picking Gilbert to win. And I don't even see a path to victory for him to win. Although anything can and will happen inside of that octagon. Mike Malott has less wear and tear on his body. He's fought less fights. And it's not like he doesn't have the experience. This is a coach. Mike Malott's been a coach. So he's coached a lot of fighters before his MMA career. He knows the sport very good. The ins and outs. So it's not like he doesn't have experience in the sport. I do have a lot of faith in him. I know the Neil Magny fight looks pretty bad. He gassed out. We're now in a 5-round fight with the best fighter he's ever fought. But I think he's working on the cardio. I can almost guarantee he's working on the cardio. He has to be working on the cardio. And as a huge favorite here, you got to think he goes out there and gets the finish. You got to go out there and think, man, is Gilbert hurt? It's not like he's not capable of getting hurt in training. His last 4 fights, the Bilal fight, he took a very bad injury, and that was less than 3 years ago. The Jack Della Maddalena fight, he got caught with the knee in round 3. That was a bad knockout loss. That's going to do some damage, my friend. And then the last fight 10 months ago, he got brutally knocked out 10 months ago. So, I mean, he's taken a lot of damage, not only in his career recently, and even in training, there could have been an injury. When you see this big of a number, that is definitely shocking. I'm more apt to think there's an injury rather than Gilbert Burns is going to go out here and get the win, to be completely honest. Like, what's going on? Mike Malott, unanimous decision win to Kevin Holland. What makes anyone think after that fight he should be this big of a favorite over Gilbert Burns? Nothing. So something has to be up. That's how I'm feeling. It's not like we haven't seen crazy shit before in MMA. Look at the Drew Dober fight. That was only a couple weeks ago. I even did a shoey or pants beer with Prelim Tim on that. The line was sketchy. Some weird rumors went around. Yeah, there's just a lot of weird shit. Isaac Dalgarian. You never know what could happen. Some of these odds, I can even talk about Yuri Prohaska last week. Over 80% of Tapology picks took Yuri Prohaska, and the odds were 50-50, minus 110 apiece. You look at Tapology, I think it was 88% on Yuri Prohaska. Me, myself, had Yuri as a lock. Betting, as a professional, I should have picked up on, and others should have picked up on Carlos being minus 110, with so many people picking Yuri Prohaska. I even did a collab, and we all had Yuri. He was minus 110 apiece going into that fight. That was a clear indication based off of the odds alone. Look at the Thomas Peterson fight 2 weeks ago as well. The list goes on and on and on. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing or saying. Trust me, Fiends. There's so many fights we can bring up and talk about, but we're just going to try to learn from them, learn from the losses, go out here and get the fucking win in Winnipeg. Let's go. Let's get this money. I am so fired up and cranked up for this one. I'm just as dialed in as Mike Malott. Now, we're going to goddamn dominate these bookies. We didn't last week, so you know what we're going to do this week. I'm going to spank them, and we're going to stab them with everything we got. Stab them with our punches, not the knives. Keep the peace, keep the love. We out, Fight Beans. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Smash those links, smash the like button, subscribe if you have not yet, and crack one. Have a big drink with Fight Fiend before you go. I'm back Friday. We're going to have a ton more fun and a ton more drinks. I'm going to tell you that. A ton of more there. A ton more fun coming up. Stay forecasted, F3. Let's turn it up. Let's get hot in Winnipeg. Because Miami wasn't too hot. It wasn't too hot. Check out all the videos on the show. We did a forecast report every Sunday. We're going to go live and do a reaction recap for the event. Stay tuned Sunday for the forecast report. Every Sunday, we're going live. Recapping the event. The next recap show, hopefully I can post some good wins. A couple prop wins from the Prop Fiend show. Someone's going to heat up. Prelim Tim, AJ, Arkansas, they will be back this week on the Prop Fiend show. It's going to be a good one. A lot of fun there. Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're giving out $50 to each and every event. You got to be there. You got to be square. We are going to be sharp once again. Let's go stab these bookies.